Hey, Shoni from SpeedCubeReview.com. So I made a magnetic 2x2. Actually, I made two of them. One of these is a Kung Fu, and the other one is the new Gorgon 2x2. Now I did two of them mainly because this one is three separate pieces, and so those come off, and the Gorgon is capped. With that, let's go over kind of how I did it, and then I'll talk about that later on. So because it's an even layered puzzle, there's going to be issues with polarity. On a 3x3, you have, let's say, south pointing out from the edges and north pointing out from the corners. So they end up attracting, or vice versa, north and south. But it's always the same on the edges and the corners. On a 2x2, since it's all corners, you can't have, let's say, south pointing one way, north pointing another, because at some point they're going to repel on some pieces and attract on others when it's scrambled or mixed up. So what you have to do is double the magnet. Every side, every part that touches has a north and a south. And if you make every piece with a north and a south, then they will constantly attract towards each other. Now you might wonder that in between turns, if it wants to repel, and not really. I mean, you can see here, it doesn't really, it'll stay there, but in between there, it kind of wants to push through. But that's it. It honestly feels a little bit like a 3x3. So the way I did this is kind of the way I do a 3x3. I start with two and then build up from there. So those two that I already magnetized, I'll do two more and then two more and then two more. One thing also to note, on the one with the caps, I kind of learned a technique that I saw in DN cubing where you have the row of magnets with a piece of paper in it and use that as a guide of which way was north or south and gauge the first two from there. Now I didn't have to do that, but it was just I wanted to try it and it seemed like it worked pretty well. Now, as far as the magnets I used, the problem with the regular magnets is that if you use the same one you use in a 3x3, which are the common ones are 4x2 and 35, or 4x2 and 50, but the 4x2, they might be too strong on a 2x2 because since there's double the amount of magnets touching on each side, it's going to feel much stronger. I ended up getting a little bit weaker magnets. I got 3x1.5. and 42s, and I'll link in the description to the page that I got those from. Now, on the Gorgon, the plastic is a little bit thinner, and it feels pretty nice. It doesn't feel as clicky as my Volk. The Kung Fu is a little bit less. I can almost barely feel that, and honestly, I probably would have gone with the 4x2 and 35 if I do this again. It doesn't feel too crazy, and really, since it's just a 2x2, the stability doesn't change too much, but it's just nice to have a magnetic 2x2. I feel like my times are pretty much the exact same, and really, if you want to do it, go for it. It's nothing too much different than a regular one besides feeling that click, and you can hear that clicky sound. Not so much here, but it's still there. I'm going to have a video out in the next week or so talking about strength of magnets and how to figure out which ones are best or which ones you will prefer. So thank you. Leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Hit like, subscribe for more content like this in the future. And as always, stop by SpeedCubeReview.com for more news and reviews.